Because I probably wanted chocolate cake. I don't know.
We can get you chocolate cake.
we can make that happen.
So I got into like school plays. There was a great drama department available at my school, and it really kept me afloat in Louisiana, where I didn't want to be for the longest time.
What precipitated the move to Louisiana? I mean, it doesn't seem like, Sacramento's nice, but Metairie.
Oh my God, I can't believe you just threw out Metairie. Nobody throws that out. We were in Mandeville, half an hour north, at a restaurant.
Yeah. So what's the next step then, I guess?
/.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about hashtag Allison Scag for Cassie and how Carr is like the champion of my employment.
Well, I'm trying. It's weird because like I talk to people a lot now about what that's all about, and
like your probation officer, the judge, lawyers,
people on the street. What is wrong with you? No, but on top of the fact that I legitimately think that you're the right casting for that role.
And how lucky for me.
Yeah, it's about
it's dying over here.
It's really for me. It's just about the idea that because I love Tim Seeley, he's such a sweetheart, and I really enjoyed having him on the show. And I was thinking about all these things that I've loved, like these. A great example is, can you imagine if we had seen the X-Men movie coming up, and clearly they were going to get Patrick Stewart to play Charles Xavier. It made sense, and then someone's like, well, Vin Diesel's doing really good right now, and he's also bald, so let's see if we can make that work. And you're like, hey, why don't you jump up your own ass and die? Stop fucking God, it irritates me to no end that the talent that we know is right for the roles and roles that we love can be so fucked over by the idea that Hollywood trying to make stupid safe bets. And we just did a video about this recently, and I looked straight in the camera, and I really mean this. We're not asking for much. You're a young, beautiful, established star, for fuck's sake. I'm not saying cast this unknown as Cassie Hack. I'm saying here's someone who looks like her and is an actress and essentially is playing a variation of Cassie Hack on Warehouse 13.
Well, and has a following in the demo that would be attractive to the movie.
Yeah, so it's not much to ask, but then I just feel like there's someone at some pitch meeting is going to go well, I was looking at the Victoria's Secret catalog, and I know this actress is actually legally mute, but I feel like she'd be best for the role. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. So it's just and I happen to be a big fan of yours. Actually, coming into liking your work in Mental, which we should talk about. That was a great episode of Mental.
Oh, thank you.
There's no reason Cassie shouldn't be Korean. Let's cast a Korean.
Yeah,
Let's do
right.
it. No,
well, what I'm thinking is actually, Tim Seeley speaks very, very, very bluntly about how that script has been rewritten several times, and after Twilight, they rewrote one where Vlad was pretty and sparkly.
Oh
and,
my God!
And it's just so it's just it.
Hold on a second while I try not to vomit.
Don't vomit all over.
Okay,
our
I'm good.
nose.
Robot Butler, Robot Cowboy, get a mop.
Okay, Tim. One mop coming up.
Robot Butler?
Yeah,
I'm
character.
hoping.
Yeah, the show's doing so well in this episode alone that we're expanding. Isn't that right, Robot Assistant?
Oh, Sax. When will you ever appreciate me?
Anyway, yeah, I got really tired of it, and I really, 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 I don't know, I like your work, it makes sense, and I decided that I was not going to shut up about it, which is something I'm already bad at doing anyway. So I was just that's it, we can do this. And then what really made it plausible though was the fans turned around that instantaneously. I was not selling them something they didn't want. So I threw it out there, and I got instantaneous fan response and dedicated people. I mean, there are people making more shirts for free in states across this country. There are people who make the website that we have, AllisonScagForCassie.com, hosted for not hosted for free, hosted very, very cheap, and made for free, administered for free. All the content's generated by all fans of yours or fans of Hackslash or both who think it's a good idea. And I'm not letting anyone on board that's not that doesn't believe in the movement. And you know what really mattered is that you saw it and said I'm backing that up. That's awesome.
Oh my God!
And it turned the gas on.
Here's why I think the campaign is so smart. Aside from the fact that it's super flattering and every actress should have a mobilized street team gunning for their employment, but conventionally, I'm talking about for decades, the studio's best interest is to find an actress that their research says is a box office draw. That's why someone like Allison
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. Like Megan Fox would be a contender for this role.
Mm-hmm.
She's been in some heavily, like top grossing films. So like conventionally, conventionally, the studio makes the choice. The fans have to get behind it or not.
Mm-hmm.
If this, hypothetically speaking, were to succeed,
Mm-hmm.
then the fans will have chosen the actor for the studio to get behind.
So you really better not fuck it up.
Dude, I am doing my best.
Yep.
I'm going to make the hard sell when I go in to see JAG Productions next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like that. I believe it can happen. I really do believe it can happen. I mean, as long again, like I was thinking about it, and there's a couple of other movements that have started behind you to like get like now they want you to be the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh my god!
And people want to put you in Hunger Wars or whatever that one is called.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, assholes, that's my idea. No, but it's actually what really made it is Claudia's love interest Fargo on Twitter tweeting like Neil Grayson for arseface.com. Like they're using my dynamic to sell the idea, but it's like I want to tell studios that we should have an input level in this, and that it shouldn't be some sort of mathematical dollar sign. It should be about talent and drive and who's right for the character, and that the fans know. But I also realize that there's a lot of people out there who are going to be like, I like this person, and this is a role, so I'm just going to put it together. And I'm like, no, you have to think about it first.
Yeah.
It has to be about actually putting together the right concept, or
Larry
it doesn't
the Cable
play.
Guy is Green Arrow.
Oh, God.
I think the movement is genius. I couldn't be more, flattered or stoked to be a part of it, and I hope that, we can take it all the way to the end. You know what I mean?
Hey, Sax. What do you think of the crossover and the romance with Allison's character?
It's interesting to me that they've created a romance between two characters that are essentially, I mean, because there can't be another crossover until next season, are just not going to be, bumping into each other anytime soon.
Long distance is hard.
Well, so for my generation, would this be like Hot Lips Houlihan dating Fonzie?
Exactly like that.
Just making sure.
Just like that.
Yeah, your generation doesn't know what the internet is based on that perception, but but yeah, I would say, I mean, it's really interesting to me how it worked out, and then I loved you on Eureka. I thought that was a great portrayal of the character.
Thank you.
I'm sure it was a fun day just lying on top of Neil in a field, doing like shoot after shoot about him about that. So
here's the deal: that minefield thing took an entire day. And it was Vancouver.
It was a veritable shooting minefield.
It was. It was raining during a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
They did actually, that explosion you see is real. They put I don't think it's a squib. Maybe it is a squib. I don't know. They put some special effects element in the ground. They blew something up,
Mm-hmm.
which was we expected the first time, but the second time I guess we were placed a lot closer and made a bigger noise. And I jumped like on top of Neil, and Neil's like, oh, "That one scared you, didn't it?" Yes. So we were filthy and covered in debris.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it was a lot of fun. Working with Neil is like working with my best friend.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how long have you guys been friends before this all came down?
Neil and I met at Comic-Con last year.
Oh.
It's true. I got there in time to see the Eureka panel that Josh Gates was moderating, and I'm so glad I did because I feel like it really prepared me for this year. And it was really entertaining. And then I saw Neil at the Sci-Fi Entertainment Weekly party, and I said, "All right, Allison, listen, Skags, grow a pair." And I walked up to Neil and I said, "Neil, you're adorable. Let's be friends."
Oh.
And he said, "All right, cool." And we basically closed the party. We were just like, attached at the hip from then on out, and
Nice.
have hung out in LA whenever he was in, and I went to Vancouver to do Smallville last year, and he was amazing. He took me to the best indie record store and the best indie comic shop
Mm-hmm.
in Vancouver. And so I we're tight. We're like going over to Eureka was like packing up a bag and bringing my my East Coast operation to family on the West Coast.
Well, it was a good, I mean, in terms of character, it was a good time to show off Claudia's range. because it sort of has the Warehouse 13 universe is a little bit weirdly like anachronistic. It's like, okay, like she knows how to use a weird typewriter computer hybrid, but like, is she really ready for the big boys when it comes to like heavy science technologies? And you're like, oh yeah, like removing charged particles from time related, and I'm like, oh, she handled it, like it's fine. And so it establishes the character well, and I think it also suggests what everyone is talking about, like the whole Clargo